Should prisoners be allowed to vote? Do you personally believe prisoners should be given the privilege to vote like normal citizens? In my opinion, yes. Yes, prisoners should be entitled to vote because they are still considered U.S. citizens. A prisoner's citizenship does not change if they are imprisoned. A citizen is a person who legally belongs to a country and has the rights and protections of that country. So why are prisoners stripped of their right to vote as if they are not citizens? Voting requirements include being a U.S. citizen, meeting residency requirements, being 18 years of age, and being a registered voter. A lot of prisoners meet all of the requirements, but are still not granted the right to vote. There are no laws that permit or prohibit prisoners from voting, yet they are still not allowed. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution gives people who have served time in jail the privilege to vote. The 13th Amendment says, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude." If prisoners were able to vote before getting in jail and after getting in jail, then they should be allowed to vote while in jail. Prisoners should get the right to vote because they simply have the right to. It is their right. People say it's too difficult to get prisoners to vote, and the process is long and drawn out. They could reserve a day around election time to allow prisoners to get their votes in. Prisoners should have a say in who they appoint as an official because they will be under their rule. When they get out of prison, they might be able to vote for them, and they will still be on their terms when they get out of prison. The prisoners will have to deal with decisions the official makes, whether they are in jail or out of jail. They should have the right to vote. Nobody should be deprived of their right to vote, especially if they meet all of the voting requirements. Only 2 states out of 50 allow prisoners to vote from their prisons. In 48 states, you are not allowed to vote while in prison. This is a map of the states. There are only 2 states up here that allow prisoners to vote. Hearing that convicted prisoners should be allowed to vote may provoke a lot of thoughts in people. Some people might say prisoners should not get the right to vote because they are convicted of the crime and they have done terrible things. Yes, they are criminals, and yes, they have done some bad things for them to be in jail, but everyone is allowed to have their rights, criminal or not. If you are a citizen, then you are entitled to that right. You are entitled to the right to vote because you are a citizen. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights says, Article 25, every citizen shall have the right and the opportunity without any of the distinctions mentioned in Article 2 and without unreasonable restriction, to vote, to be elected at genuine periodic elections which shall be by universal and equal suffrage and shall be held by secret ballot, guaranteeing the free expression of the will of the electors. This text gives people the right to vote if you are a citizen. It is written in paper. If you are a citizen, you should have the right to vote. As I end, I have a couple of questions. Are most prisoners citizens? Do citizens have the right to vote? Do most prisoners meet voting requirements? Yes, yes, and yes. Prisoners should practice their right to vote in jail because they are citizens and they should have a say in government. They should have a say in who they appoint to be their president, senator, or anything. They should be allowed to practice their human rights and allowed to practice their right to vote.